Welcome to Guided Life, where we meet our personal guidance team and learn how to work with our unseen crew of spiritual sidekicks. Your guides are ready and waiting for you to tap into their wisdom, help, and build the life you truly want. Host Shannon Ratay is a life and career coach, angel messenger, and medium who is known for her unique gifts of delivering messages from our collective team, including angels, fairies, and other helpers. Shannon leads you through each episode with spiritual downloads, energetic transmissions, powerful visualizations, and more, helping you tap into your own tuition to strengthen your confidence and connection. Shannon's calling is to empower you to create an extraordinary life. And now, here's your host of Guided Life, Shannon Ratay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another edition of Guided Life. Guided Life is where we get together each month to take a journey to explore a different aspect of our guidance team, because they are here and they want to connect with us. I am your host, Shannon, and it's always so good to be here. And I think it's going to be really interesting. This one's going to be a bit of an experiment. This show, what we are taking a deep dive into explore is our relationship with our ancestors. So, but discovering and exploring that relationship with our ancestors as an aspect of our guidance team, right? So some of you might have existing relationships with your ancestors. You might already have practices or think about them in a particular way, but this is being able to think about them and relate to them as an aspect of your guidance team. And speaking of which, I told them all it was their responsibility to get you here. So if you are here today, or if you are listening to this show, know that your ancestors have called you in, because I actually even tried to duke it out with them. I was like, guys, I am not the expert in this. I am not an expert. So much of what I talk about and the work that we do here comes from my own practices, either in my coaching practice or my own experience with my connection to spirit. And my connection to ancestors in the world of ancestors is a little bit lighter, is a little bit more tangential. And we'll talk more about that. And they were very insistent. So know that if you are here today, that your ancestors want to be in touch with you. And I told them that this show is on them. I was just joking with Kelly in the background. I was telling her, and I'll tell all of you, if for some reason this show is a bust, if for some reason this one doesn't work out so well, I'm blaming the ancestors. This one isn't my fault, guys. This one is on them. So we are in a little bit of a sandbox, playing around together today to see what emerges on ancestors. So with that, I will take a moment to say hello to everyone who's here. Hello. It really is. It's such an honor to have you here. I wish you knew or know the sense of gratitude I have that you share time with me, that you share space with me, that I get to have your time and attention. I really do. I'm so grateful for everyone that comes and spends this time and space with me. And with that, hello, Labyrinthian Criterion, one of the best handles ever. Thank you for being here. Hello, Kim Princess. Welcome. So good to have you. Hello. Welcome to the house solving from both Carol Johnson and Evelyn. Hi, Sherry. So good to see you. Thank you for the love. Also, Oh, hey, it's Jennifer Rose. What a surprise. For those of you that were with us from Messages from the Enchanted Realm, I'm so happy that you stuck around and you came for Guided Life. Of course, Miss Jennifer Rose, my co-host, was there with me. And so I always appreciate having Jennifer Rose in the house. She always brings the fun. Yeah, let me see. Anyone else I might have missed? Oh, welcome, Sherry, all the way from Canada. Welcome to our neighbor in the north. And yeah, I think that has got us going for now. So welcome in everyone who might be a little bit shy and not necessarily in. Yep, that's right, Solving in the house. Cute little town in California. If you've never been to Solving, you should definitely go check it out. That's right, Carol. Everyone loves Solving. And I might not even be completely pronouncing it correctly, but hopefully close enough. Oh, hey, Kim Princess, I didn't know that you were from New York. Oh, and hello, Jennifer McCormick. Thank you for being here. Hello. Hearts right back to you. Oh, thank you, Evelyn. Evelyn's telling me I'm pronouncing Solving correctly. So then, if you are hiding out and not commenting, just for you to know that we won't bite here, it is always nice to have everyone who's listening in get a chance to comment. But yeah, and then there's Sherry Daniels. Yes, Sherry, my aim is to do some readings at the very end, and that is also perfect timing. Oh, before I talk about our schedule, a few more people. We've got Vivian. Aloha, Vivian. I think I saw before that there's a lot going on right now, Vivian. So just know that you're in my heart. I am thinking about you. Monica, it's so good to see you. Thanks, Monica, friend of the show. And Stacia, yes, Stacia recognizing Kelly, our producer, saying hi to me and Kelly. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. What we are going to do today is we are going to first talk a bit about our ancestors and relating to our ancestors. So we're going to talk about working with ancestors as members of our guidance team. And then we are going to do what we do. We're going to move into a grounding meditation. And then from that grounding meditation, it will set us up perfectly to do an energetic transmission. This energetic transmission is actually going to come from your ancestors. They're going to be lending an assist to help energetically share the information that they are wanting you to know about connecting with them and working with them. And from there, we are going to go into a visualization to help you connect with your ancestors, perhaps get a different sense of them if you have an existing relationship. So turn on some different senses and some different ways of communicating with them. Or if this is a newer relationship, build that relationship with them through the power of visualization. And then once we're done with the visualization, I should say that visualization will last about 10 minutes to think in your mind, like, okay, when we bust into that visualization, it's going to be about 10 minutes. I'll settle in. And when we're done, we'll share. And if there's time, do some readings at the end. So readings coming at the end. Stick around. Welcome, Sheila. So good to see you. Lots of great friendly faces in the house. Oh, hey, Mary. I see you there as well. And anyone else I might have missed. Anyone who I might have missed or anyone hiding out in the background. Hello to you too. So what is really great about working with our ancestors as part of our guidance team is that inherently we have an existing known connection to these beings, because literally we wouldn't be here without them. So there is this natural starting point, this natural connection point, which can be different from trying to create from an more unknown place, right? Like we don't have that same inherent knowledge or awareness of our guides and our angels and other members of our team that we can have with our ancestors. And so for a lot of people, that connection, having that existing starting point, can feel easier, It can feel more natural. It can feel more inherent, especially, right? Like, especially if you have strong cultural ties to your ancestors, or you have, a cultural or even familiar background that already involves building that connection and working from that place of connection. So there are a lot of people for whom this is a really powerful way to enter in or begin to develop and grow your guidance team, is starting from that place of ancestors. And for our purposes today, right, sometimes we can think about a particular loved one or a particular ancestor, and we're going to go into that into the future, like in a future show, connecting with a particular ancestor or a particular loved one. But today, we're going to start just thinking about them collectively, right? How to work with them collectively, how they show up for us collectively, what it means to us to have that relationship with them collectively. So my aim is to simply open the door a little bit wider to this aspect of your team. When admittedly, show is partially for me as well, because I don't naturally have a connection to this part of my history. A lot of my ancestral background is Northern California. Not Northern Californian. It is Northern California. It's actually Northern European. And for a lot of us with a Northern European ancestry, a lot of our more ancient cultural practices, the ways that our ancestors might have connected to their ancestors, a lot of that stuff has gotten rolled into Christianity. And so we'll talk a little bit about that, but it's not as much a separate practice as there might be in other cultures. And you might be able to relate to that, where either you're like, oh yeah, I don't know a whole lot about cultural practices from my lineage in my ancestors. Or you might be thinking, oh gosh, actually I do, right? Like I have a strong cultural connection. There's within my family, there's already practices and ways that I relate to my ancestors. But just to say that I don't quite as much. And so hopefully then that makes it a little bit easier for us to create from within, right? Create that relationship that's meaningful to each of us. So what's really beneficial about developing this relationship is that a couple of things. Number one, this relationship can help assist with clearing generational trauma. So many of us are consistently working on personal development, working on improving our lives. And so there can be that knowledge and awareness that when we're working on our own trauma, when we're working on our own personal development, that we are also working on clearing generational trauma, and we are also impacting those of us that come after us, right? Our living, breathing ancestors, or ancestors in the making, while simultaneously it can be a vehicle to accessing generational gifts, right? So there might be those generational or ancestral practices that can be a different way, a deeper way, a more meaningful way to connect with spirit. Working with your ancestors can also be a way to feel more grounded and connected to yourself, right? Like by working with them, you're literally working with your own roots and the depth of your own history. So it can be a way to come deeper within to yourself and your own sense of being, your own sense of purpose, your own sense of just, simply being alive and rooted. That can be especially helpful for some of us who happen to float. I can be a floater. I can live in the airwaves. And so this rootedness from knowing my ancestors can be really profound in terms of a sense of being alive. For other people, working with ancestors can be a specific way to tap into the energy of gratitude and appreciation, right? That thinking about our ancestors can allow us to have an appreciation for the people that came before us and for all that they did and all that they endured and accomplished for me, for us to be here today. And so many of us, people who have spiritual practices, know how powerful And just how powerful the energy of gratitude and appreciation is. And so for a lot of people, working with ancestors can be an easy way to access, to work into, to access, to lean into that spirit and energy of gratitude and appreciation. Right. Like, we would not be here if we're not all that they went through and all that they did and all those that they loved. And with all of this, I'm talking about how other people and myself that I'm developing can work with ancestors, and how it can be beneficial in the day-to-day. But these are just ways to inspire you to perhaps explore and create and deepen your own connection to this component of your guidance team. With that being said, since I'm saying that I am not the expert, what I am going to do, though, is point to some ways that connecting with the ancestors is more commonly seen and recognized in society, and especially here in the Americas. I assume for places beyond the Americas as well, but I'll ask you some questions around that in a moment. But across cultures, there are a few consistent themes, right? That theme that our ancestors are not gone, that they're in relationship to us, that often that connection to ancestors feels reciprocal, right? There's a sense of honoring them and them supporting us. And a lot of the practices that are already in existence are communal and embodied and not just internal, right? Like there's actual ceremonies, there's actual practices, there's actual experiences versus strictly having an internal connection with them. Not to say that you can't just do an internal connection on your own, but that's a lot of what we're seeing out in the world of existing ancestral practices, which we'll talk more about in a moment. Now, this is a great note to make a side note and a side plug that on the off chance that, I think I'm seeing in the, I'm hearing that I'm frozen. Am I back or am I still frozen? All right. I'll just keep going. It sounds like you can hear me. I was checking my notes there for a moment. Camera working now. Thank you, Crispy. I really appreciate it. I'm back. Thank you. I'm fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. My plug for, if for some reason you don't have a big connection to your ancestry, to go ahead and check out ancestry.com, right? It can be a really powerful thing to it can be a really powerful thing to go back and research your own lineages, your own ancestors, where they came from. Oftentimes people can find out that the stories that have been passed to you around your ancestors and in your lineages and where they've come from aren't actually true, that there's more to the story. So that encouragement to go do your own research and learn a little bit more, that in itself can be a spiritual practice. All right. So a couple of ways that you might already be hearing about working with ancestors could be, there is the principle for a lot of people doing healing work, trauma work, any sort of personal development work, the concept of 7 generations, right? So this idea stems from Indigenous people, primarily from North America, but the concept is now really frequently applied in family therapy, other shamanic traditions, and just modern sustainability efforts. That idea that any healing work that you are doing goes back 7 generations and heals the 7 generations before you. And then the whole idea on the flip side is that it also heals the 7 generations to come, and to think carefully about helping the next 7 generations by the decisions that you make. But to know that concept of 7 generations and healing your ancestors comes from a Native American, primarily North American Native American tradition. Or very commonly the Day of the Dead is celebrated by a lot of people beyond those that have the roots in Aztec culture from which that came. So Day of the Dead is rooted in Aztec tradition, and it shifts the view of death from a finality to a natural phase of life. And so much of that focuses on maintaining a connection with ancestors through elaborate altars, and those altars are often filled with personal items and photos and food. And there may even be people here that have a closer connection with the Day of the Dead. But here in California, Day of the Dead is a really big event that so many people participate in beyond those that have that direct familial connection to that ceremony and practice. And another one that most people, have either participated in themselves or heard about is Passover, right? So in some in the tradition, in the Jewish tradition of Passover, the idea is that people are remembering so deeply that line between past and present that they are stepping into the lineage itself, right? Like Passover is such a great example, and one of the strongest examples of acknowledging that living ancestral continuity, right? As part of the Passover celebration, there's the retelling the same story that the ancestors have told. There's eating the same symbolic foods. There's a structure that's been passed down for generations, and it's really common to sit down with family across multiple generations. So, those are some practices. That there are some practices. Chrissy, yes, we most commonly associate it with Mexican culture, but Mexican culture that is even more deeply rooted in the Aztec culture that influenced Mexican culture. So many more people are doing their own practices around Day of the Dead, but that's exactly what happens, right? That strong ancestral celebration, that strong ancestral connection, and how poignant it is that other peoples are continuing to engage in the practices as well. And so that encouragement to develop your own, because it speaks to a universal truth, that connection. So along those lines, as you are thinking about connecting to your ancestors, I'll say one of the really common practices across traditions is the ancestor altar. So if for some reason this has interest to you, where you're like, all right, I'd like to develop a deeper connection to my ancestors, that ancestor altar can be a phenomenal start. Sorry, I'll back that up. I'll take that word. Some of the cultures that work with ancestor altars are, East Asia, like China, Japan, Vietnam, Korea, and Africa. And in Africa, specifically Nigeria and West African nations. And they can be a focal point, either daily or seasonal. And other prominent examples, of course, include the Day of the Dead, that there is like we just spoke about, the ancestor altars. And household altars are common in Hindu and Buddhist traditions. And if you're new to altars for whatever reason, just knowing that an altar can be as simple as 3 different items, right? 3 different items that start an intention, but that can be I'm just seeing my comments now that I've been freezing. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on. I'm freezing in and out. So sorry. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully I'm back. And I don't quite understand why I've been freezing, but I am so sorry. And I appreciate you all taking. I'm just going to make sure that there isn't something going on with like a connection to my phone. But nope, my phone is off. I'm back. Okay. Thank you so much. But you've been able to hear me. It's just my video that's been going. It's the ancestors. Thank you, Stacia. Yeah, let's please. Okay, ancestors, I need your help. I know there's a lot of energy flowing here, but we got to keep me on camera. Okay, Jess, thank you for telling me that you can hear me. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. There must be a lot of energy flowing. I blame all of your ancestors. I don't, when we've just been more closely working with mine, everything's been fine. We'll just name that you all must have some really powerful ancestors that have got a lot of energy flowing. Welcome back, everyone. Let's see. Here we go. Hello to some of the people who have shown up since I've started talking about the ancestors. Hello, Michael Christopher. Always appreciate seeing you here. Fran Pierce, Queen Fairy Fran is here. So good to have you here. Illig 3333, welcome. So good to have you here. 963, you're back. Thank you for coming on over to Guided Life. Of course, Chrissy and Sheila and Cecily. And who else have we got in the house here? I've got Jess. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And anyone else I might have missed? Gary. Welcome, Gary. All right. So then, I will ask, I'll put it out in the comments. Does anyone have an existing relationship or practice or history with their ancestors? I'm curious what all you've got going on already, whether it's, an altar already dedicated, if you already have 3. Oh, great question, Carol. So what's really great about working with an altar is to get you started. It can be any 3 items that might hold an intention and that energetically feel, right? So whatever, be like, okay, I want to create an altar for my ancestors. I'm just going to get started. I am going to set an intention, like, hey, something that feels appropriate. I want to create a connection with them. I'm going to look around my house and pick 3 things that feel like they can hold the energy of that intention. And it gets to be really, really simple, right? Like it gets to be really, really easy. So for example, I'll show you, I have a little altar that I set up here before I do this work with all of you. And so I've got a couple of things. I'll show you my biggest one first. I just happen to have a lovely Celestine crystal here, which increases the connection to the angels. So I've got that here because the angels are always a part of my work. And then I've got a little tiny angel. And then you might all remember from last time that I have a couple of objects that I keep with me because I have a tendency to get ungrounded. So these are the 2 altar items that I set up that are that nice grounding energy presence to help keep me grounded. So it can be as simple as 3 objects that to you feel like they can hold the attention, the intention that you set around connecting to your ancestors. You don't have to overcomplicate it. And then it can be a great focal point and way to engage on a daily basis from time to time as that reminder and that holder for you of that intention. And I'm seeing from Stacia, oh wait, Jess, I do shamanic dance and call in my ancestors to dance with me. Beautiful practice, beautiful practice. I think I saw from Stacia that Stacia was saying, I include my ancestors in my daily prayers and in my healing sessions. Beautiful example of an existing relationship and practice. Yeah, Vivian, I know that in Hawaii, there is a strong connection to the ancestors and working with the ancestors. And so I see Vivian saying that she has a practice. Yeah, I'm just looking through the comments right now. Christy says, I talk to loved ones in spirit a lot, but I don't have an altar yet. Yeah, well, here's a really good sneak peek to know that part of today's visualization and connecting to your ancestors, they are actually going to help identify an item either for your existing altar or for an altar that you might be interested in creating to work with them. Yeah. And I say 3 objects, Kim, meaning like it doesn't have to, some people have big elaborate altars and you might see big elaborate altars, But it can be simple as, just picking 3 objects, and that's enough to get your altar started. Like, it doesn't have to be a big ancestor. 963. I do not feed my ancestors, but that is a common practice in other cultures. So perhaps you might come from a culture where it's common to feed your ancestors, to take care of them and keep that relationship. And that is actually something that you absolutely can do. And that might be some interesting research, right? To find out, okay, which cultures, and I'll ask you, do you feel called to feed yours? Like, that might indicate a particular way, especially if you love to cook, or that idea of food and sustenance is really important to you, that might be an aspect of your connection, your connection to them. Yeah. Ooh. Yes, I have an altar that has a base of things, and then I add seasonal things, or things that come to me from nature's, like feathers and pine cone rocks and a squirrel tail that your outside cat gave me. Love it, Fran. Absolutely love it. And yeah, so we'll see if there's anything specific that you get called to add to your altar. Yeah. Welcome, Charlotte. So good to have you here. Chrissy says, does drinking Blue Lotus before count? Before meditating as a ritual to connect with ancestors? I've been reading up a ton on ancient Egyptian life and culture. Oh, that's a great question, Chrissy. I admit I don't know about Blue Lotus, but if for you that it feels like adding in a ritual, or adding that in helps your connection, absolutely, right? Like, absolutely building your own ritual, building your own ceremony, right? Because drinking a cup of coffee in the morning intentionally can bring ritual into our practices. So I fully admit, I would love to hear from you and learn more about how Blue Lotus is connected, or if it is connected to working with ancestors. So yeah, let's see. Oh, Evelyn, I've never heard of 3, but that makes sense. And that is a bit of my more informal, like that idea of 3 is not a hard and fast rule. It's that idea of like, oh, an altar doesn't have to be an elaborate, grab 3 things, right? Like, it can be as simple as saying, grab 3 things, start your altar, start your intention. That oftentimes, if we maybe just have one object or one thing, that it doesn't hold the energy quite the same way. But it might be that you have something big and powerful, and it could be one thing, and that's your altar. That's fine as well. But that, for most people, 3 objects creates an altar, and it's something to focus the attention on. All right. Yay. Carol says, these are great ideas to help folks start an ancestor altar. I'm really glad to hear that. So then, since we've gotten a lot of good juice flowing, thinking about the ancestors, connecting to them. Oh, Evelyn, you're exactly right. Cards and flowers for birthdays, right? If you ever get a chance, go and look at the pictures of the Day of the Dead altars. They can be phenomenal. Like, that's where the sugar skulls come from, and there might be pictures of ancestors. So there can be some really elaborately beautiful ones that you can just feel the depth of connection and the love with which they were created. So it can be also a way to engage that is creative and alive, and some more active practice than sometimes we can have than the way that we connect with the other members. So you do, 963, I fixed them a favorite meal. I had a feeling that you had an existing connection with feeding your ancestors. And I love that you're sharing that with us, right? For those of you that love food, love to cook, up and Fran as well. Wonderful. Wonderful. Stacia says, wonder if my grandpa's Oakland A's jacket would work. Stacia, since I am sitting here in Oakland, 100%, right? Like, that's a powerful item. I love that idea. Go A's, and go A's. Oakland A's. There are unfortunately no longer the Oakland A's. So absolutely, that is definitely fits my definition of a sacred object. So well done. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to get ready to, we're going to do a meditation to get us grounded. from that grounding meditation, we will then move into an energetic transmission where I energetically share with you the information and the energy of your ancestors that they are looking to share in order to support the connection with them. And then we'll move into that meditation, the guided visualization, which should take about 10 minutes. And me missing my words like that is my sign to hold on to my grounding items to slow me down and ground me once again. So, all right, settling in, maybe getting comfortable, preparing yourself for our grounding exercise. Yeah. Taking a deep breath, perhaps feeling your butt in the chair or your feet on the ground or your back up against the chair behind you. Or if you're me, I tend to tuck my legs underneath me and sit cross-legged. So perhaps feeling your feet and legs on the seat of your sofa or chair instead. And if it feels right, letting your eyes close and taking some deep breaths. As you take these deep breaths, taking your attention internal, noticing yourself. There's been a lot of fun engagement with others on the comments, but now is that opportunity to notice yourself, your own body, your own system, your own breathing. And as we like to do here, beginning by noticing our bones, because our bones are in the center of our body. So when we're in our bones, we're in our body. Beginning by noticing your spine. Your spine running from the base of your skull all the way down through your mid-back, down to your lower back, down to your tailbone. When you're in your bones, you're in your body. Taking a moment to say hello to the bones of your skull, those plates that connect up together. Saying hello to the bones of your jaw, the bones in your arms and hands and fingers. Special hello to that bone, that sternum bone, center of your chest. And following your ribs around to where they connect into your spine. And hello to the bones in your legs. And yet again, noticing that spine all the way down to the tailbone. And noticing how your tailbone becomes a tail, traveling all the way down to the center of the earth. What does your tail look like? We just talked about dragons last month, so maybe you have a dragon tail. And just like that tail goes far down into the center of the earth, just as far down, there are roots that come out of the bottom of your feet. And those roots are just as wide as that tail is far down deep. And effortlessly, as you continue to breathe, warm, nourishing earth energy in just the right amount travels up your tail and up those roots, in just the right amounts, nourishing your system, nourishing your cells, nourishing your organs, nourishing your blood, all the bits and pieces that make up your physical body. That warm, nourishing earth energy that is your birthright, gently energizing your system. And not to worry, it may be that there's extra. And if there's extra, that extra flows out of your system, but is still captured by the snow globe bubble that's around you. This energetic experience of your own personal energy, right? Your own personal space. And that energetic space extends about arm's length distance all around you, like your own personal bubble, your own personal snow globe. So not to worry, if there's extra earth energy that's flowing up, it still gets to be contained within your bubble. From inside your bubble, taking a moment to call back in your sparkle. You might have deposited some sparkle out in the world, just calling it back. You might have left it like I did in the coffee shop I was at this morning. You might have left it in all the places that you were exploring while you were looking for a parking spot like I did. And as you're calling it back, you might also be noticing that you've picked up some sparkle that wasn't yours, some not me. And just intending that that not me goes back to where it came from, sending it all back. Feel free to put up any decorations inside your little bubble, anything that makes it more comfortable to be here in your body, in your energetic space. Taking another couple of deep breaths, knowing that all of this is continuing to happen on its own, you and your bones, your sparkle returning, releasing anything that's not yours, while your tail is down connected to the center of the earth and both it and your roots, gently absorbing the nourishing earth energy that is your birthright. Ooh, that feels good. Full, alive, refreshed, centered. What comes next is I am going to be creating an energy ball. And this energy ball will contain energetic information that my system will transmit to yours in conjunction with your ancestors. So the information that they would like you to know about connecting with them. A couple of quick points. Number one, for those of you that have energetic practices, know that this is an energetically held space, that I have an energetic container in place, and that energetic container instructs that everyone's system will get exactly what they need, no more or no less. So this is an energetically held space. Number two, as part of that energetically held space, and as part of this practice, going the extra mile, being extra careful in terms of clarifying that these are healed ancestors, that we are working with your healed ancestors that have done their work, right? And trying to think if there's anything else, just to know that I will walk you through the practice. So hold on, please, while I gather up this energy ball. Noticing all of your ancestors. There's a rowdy bunch. You guys have a lot of interesting and lively and wise ancestors that are here to work with you today. Ooh, they're also smart and fast. That came together really quickly. So in a moment, I am going to put this energy ball up to the screen. And when you are ready, you too can put your hands up and simply allow the energetic information of this energy ball to be received through your hands. Just like receiving a gift, allowing the receptivity in your system to instruct your hands to allow that transmission of energy into your system through your hands. All right, here we go. Here is the energy ball from your ancestors. When you're ready, putting your hands up and simply allowing the energy to be received through your hands. Ooh, lots of tingle in my hands. Plus a lot of feeling of love and gratitude that's flowing through. They are so deeply grateful that you are here and that you are open to their message of them wanting to work with you and be in connection with you. Simply receiving and noticing. All right, transmission is almost complete. They're asking me to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Transmission complete. Taking a moment to see if you can notice the warm fuzzies that are here. They are so happy. I don't know if in doing a transmission like this, I have ever felt as much warmth and gratitude for your participation, right? That communication of that warmth and gratitude for your participation in being here. Yeah. All right. Let's give a moment to integrate. Your systems are busy. And in a moment, we will do that visualization, which will be about 10 minutes. So if you haven't, getting into a comfortable spot. Many people are happy, like, reclining either in bed or on the sofa, allowing that. Oh, Stacia, I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, doesn't it feel loving? There is a different quality to this one than versus the other that I've done. Not that surprising when we've connected to the dragons, which have a little bit more of that fiery energy, that this one would feel a bit more loving and full of that gratitude. So yeah, getting yourself set up, so what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to try and, on the off chance that the problem is my side, I'm going to shut down some of my tabs. Hopefully I won't cut out as I'm reading this visualization, but your eyes should be closed anyway, so hopefully you won't notice if my screen freezes up again, but hopefully they'll behave themselves. So just shutting down some tabs on the chance that there's a glitch on my side. All right. Incoming. I'm going to start, get yourselves comfortable. I'm going to start the script to connect with our ancestors, the visualization. All right, everyone. This is a guide visualization to connect with your ancestors. Your ancestors are not distant or abstract. They are part of the living current that make you possible. They carry lived experiences, resilience, patterns, strengths, and unfinished stories. In today's experience, you are not trying to reach them for the first time. You are simply turning towards a relationship that already exists. You are simply becoming more aware of it. So go ahead and find a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down, allowing your hands to rest easily. Close your eyes. If it feels supportive, gently rolling your shoulders back and letting them soften. Take a slow breath in through your nose and exhale gently through your mouth. More breathing. And as you breathe, feeling your body beginning to settle. Another slow breath in. And as you exhale, allowing the day to loosen its hold on you. Let your jaw soften. Let your hands unclench. One more deep breath in. And as you breathe out, feel yourself arriving more fully into this moment. With each breath, let your imagination go. Let your imagination take you to a safe place that is just for you and just for this connection. As you let your imagination go, you begin to find yourself in a landscape that feels connected to your ancestors. This might be a place you recognize, or it might be completely unknown. But regardless, you are safe as you observe it. It doesn't need to be historically accurate or something you already know. Just let your imagination go. Make it up. Simply allow it to form. Wherever you arrive, let it come alive in its own way. Just make it up. Whatever you come up with is just fine. As you look around this safe place, notice, what kind of place is this? What colors are present here? What sounds do you hear? What are the smells? What words describe this place? Take a moment to allow yourself to fully arrive in this ancestral landscape, a place where connection is already present and where you can more easily sense the presence of those who came before you. As you settle into this place, begin by noticing sensation. There is a gentle presence here, a little bit of excited anticipation. Something in the space is connecting with you. These are your ancestors. They're not here as individuals you must identify one by one or name, but as a collective field of lived lives that led to you. Take a moment to simply sense them. What do you feel in the space around you? What else do you notice? What happens in your body as you become aware you are with your lineage? There's no need to reach for clarity here. Just simply notice what is. As you remain present, the presence begins to organize itself, not into specific people, but into qualities. The qualities of your lineage. You may sense strength, You may sense endurance, or perhaps grief, or love that persisted, or joy. Simply let your awareness soften and notice. What words describe the qualities of your ancestors? Your ancestors are not only your past, they are also part of your current field of support, like an energetic river that continues to flow through you. Instead of trying to see specific faces or names, simply allow yourself to just sense the field of them. Now, if it feels right, you can begin an inner dialogue with this ancestral field. Ask your ancestors the following questions and listen for their responses. Ask them, ancestors, what do you most want for me to understand about where I come from? Ancestors, what strengths live in me because of you? Ancestors, what patterns are still asking to be seen with more awareness? And lastly, how can I connect easily with you? Now, someone from your ancestral field steps forward to offer you something, a gift. It is something you can place on your ancestor altar or use to create an ancestor altar. Receive their gift. Notice, what is it? What does the gift look like? Ask them, what do you want me to know about this gift for my altar? Now thank them, knowing you can be with them any time you choose. When you're ready, begin to gently step back from this space. The ancestral field does not disappear, it simply becomes less sensory present as your awareness begins to return to your body. Noticing your breath again, noticing the feeling of your physical form, the surfaces beneath you, the room around you, the Shannon here with you, wiggling your fingers and toes, feeling yourself now in the present moment, carrying what you have received. One final breath in, and on a slow exhale, opening your eyes when you are ready. Welcome back, everyone. That was sort of interesting, I must say. I created that visualization, but I hadn't actually done it myself. And even though I wasn't visualizing, I was getting some messages too. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, all right, fine, ancestors. I think my ancestors might be sending me some messages too, because I got some sort of message. I got this message around the women in my ancestral lineage, and just the ways in which they're not fully being recognized by me, and understanding the gifts, especially of the women in my ancestral lineage and history. Oh, wow. Nice message from Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer, let's see. I'm going to read this one out loud. Beautiful, Shannon. Thank you. It's no coincidence your show is on ancestors today. We have 4 generations of birthdays today. Wow. In my family today, my maternal great-grandmother, her son, grandson, and great-granddaughter. My niece, which would be great-great-granddaughter, should have been born 10 years ago today. Wow. She was born sleeping in December 2015. Oh, thank you for sharing. I have felt my family so close today. Oh, Jennifer, my great-grandmother appeared to me in the night before she came home to rest. Always been so close. Oh, wow, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing. Right? Like, when I was negotiating with them and getting the message so clearly that nope, it was today's show. Because you can imagine, as I was thinking about connecting with ancestors, I was thinking about, like, wouldn't this be better for an October show, and in preparation for something like Day of the Dead? And of course, one of the most common ways of honoring the ancestors in terms of history in the Northern European tradition that has been rolled into Halloween, right? And sort of the ways that we think of the unseen with Halloween. So that for you to know that they had your back today, Jennifer. Happy birthday to everyone, like Stacia said. And it looks like Evelyn is so excited for you. And Carol says, wow, this is such a great show to repeat whenever I needed a guided meditation. Thank you so much. You are so welcome, Carol. Yes, there is a guided meditation in each, a guided meditation, a guided visualization for any of the back shows. So always feel free to go back and re-listen. Even me, I just got something and I was just reading it. I wasn't even doing the visualization. I am curious, did anyone get anything in particular? Anyone get anything in particular for their altars? Any objects? You're so welcome, Jennifer. It really is amazing how spirit works. And I have no doubt it was your ancestors that were help making their own bid, doing part of the knocking to say, like, absolutely, it needs to be today, that today is the day to do the ancestor work and talk about ancestors. So did anyone get anything for any altar items, any objects? I'll tell you what I got, which was sort of funny. The question, when I asked the question, like, how can we connect easily with them? They handed me a cocktail. And they were like, Shannon, you might not know it, but the women of your lineage always enjoyed a good strong drink. And so they liked they liked their alcohol. So whenever you have a cocktail, taking that moment, right, when you take that moment to cheers, say cheers to the person in front of you, just to know that you're also, like, giving them a nice little cheers, as well. So I admit I was delighted by that. That was not something I would have rationally expected, was to be told that I can connect easily with them whenever I'm having a cocktail. Oh gosh, Jennifer, I'm reading yours that says, I didn't get anything, but I feel my partner said she doesn't need anything more on her altar. That, that's lovely. that's that's yeah, that's lovely. Oh my gosh. And Illig, ILIG 333. I swear mine said wine. Hey, who knows? Maybe in the way back days, my ancestors and your ancestors knew each other, right? Like maybe in the way back days. Yeah, like maybe in the way back days. Oh, and yeah, I think Evelyn's saying that seashells are wanting to be added. I like that for you. I like that a lot. Um, yeah, very nice. Oh, Stacia says I didn't get objects, but I did get the gift of hearing the birds sing. Oh, I need to connect outdoors. I I love that way of them giving you that message, Stacia, right? That or even just that understanding of that connection to nature might be inherent with your connection to your ancestors, that there might be some sort of thread that connects nature and birds and your ancestors. Really lovely message. All right. Very good. Hey, Kay Weezy. Yeah, so good to see you here. All right, we've got a few minutes. My producer Kelly, lovely Kelly Brickle, it's been a long day for her. So let's see. I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering. Let me dig in and see if we have any particular messages coming up. Yeah. Hmm. First off, Jennifer, the first message that's coming through is for Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer McCormick. Jennifer, just to know, right? Like I'm feeling all the ancestors here today. No surprise, right? Like just noticing their presence. And the thing that's coming through is their love, their gratitude, their appreciation for you, Jennifer, right? Like I am getting so strongly I mean, what I'm hearing is like you are the manifestation of all our hopes and dreams, right? Like that they are so proud of you. And that sense of awe and wonder when they look at you, right? Like it's almost like it's astounding to them. You know, they're giving that idea of like when we were embodied, when we were living, if we had known that if we had known that you, right, like you would come from us, the way that you move through the world, the way that you operate in this lifetime, if we had known that someone like you was possible when we were embodied, it would have blown our minds. Yeah, it would have blown our minds that they are so just proud and thrilled with you. Um, and they are acknowledging the existing connection that they have with you, and they're just really thrilled that you're really thrilled that you are here today. Just sort of connecting into that energy of beaming pride that they've got. Yeah, that beaming pride that they've got. Seeing if there's anything more specific. I'm simply seeing them handing you a flower, right? Like I'm simply seeing them handing you a flower. Those spring flowers. It's almost like their gratitude for you is in reverse. They're saying that when you see the flowers, as opposed to you putting altar items to honor them, that when you look out and see the flowers, to imagine them having those flowers there as almost an altar to you. Appreciation for your existence, appreciation. Oh, they are acknowledging something around a choice to be here. I don't know if there was ever a point in your history, a point in your lifetime where you had to make the decision to be here and be embodied and do this work that you're continuing to do. But they are acknowledging your choice to be here, and they are grateful and appreciative for you making the powerful choice to be alive at this moment in time in this body, and doing the work that they do. That there's something very specific around a choice you've made to be here and be embodied. So yeah, that's it's just this big field of love and appreciation. I keep saying that because it's so poignant. So yeah, wonderful, Jennifer. It's really lovely to sit with your ancestors. Really powerful to sit with your ancestors. Oh, hey, Michael. I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, thank you. You've been driving, so couldn't really chat, but it's been great listening. Yeah. Michael, I get the sense that's coming through really, really clearly right now is how ancestry connected your creativity is. That there's something around your creativity that has been passed down through the generations, and it feels like you are a living, breathing representation of that creativity that has always been there. And I don't know if you know a whole lot about your ancestors or your ancestry and that relationship to creativity. But I'm hearing, and I know you're driving, so no worries. But they right now are definitely giving me the image of an ancestor. I'm sorry, of an altar. And what they're talking about is the enjoyment of that as an expression of that creativity, that specifically an ancestor altar would really be a great way for you to connect with them, and as an expression of that creativity, sort of that reciprocity, give and take, for you to interact with them in a creative way. And it's almost like building up that field of creativity in relation to them, and that exchange of energy creatively will to continue to fuel and fire so many of the other creative expressions that you have and the creative ideas that you have, that it's almost like I'm getting the image of the big things that you pump to, to make the fire grow, and that altar is the thing that helps the fire grow. And so I hope that helps, Michael. I'm sorry, Michael. They came through really, really clearly. Oh wow, Jennifer. Woo. Jennifer says, yes, I did. I had a near-death experience, and my grandmother put me on the spiritual path after she passed in 2007. Thank you, Shannon. Oh, wow. Jennifer, they made it clear, right? Like that near-death experience, right? Like what a powerful role you played in choosing to be here. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Jennifer. I really appreciate you sharing. Yeah, what a lovely moment. So yeah, and let me see any other ancestors that are coming through at the moment. KWZ, if you're still here, just to know that I am hearing, I know what a close connection you have with your dad in spirit. And just to name that there are a lot of ancestors who want to connect with you, right? Like that he is almost like this entry point to this whole wealth of resources in your ancestral background and lineage. It feels like that there's a wealth of information and connection to music. I already know you have a strong musical, a strong musical practice and a strong connection to music, but it also feels like there's even more, room for connection and development as part of this ancestral lineage, this ancestral connection. It feels like there's a lot of richness, and that same connection and depth that you feel with your dad, it won't be the same, but there is potential and there is room for depth of connection with the rest of your ancestors and your ancestral lineage as well. All right, everyone. That is feeling like we did pretty darn well today, and that this is a good place to leave us for today. I will be so interested to hear if anyone does end up getting more information. More information. More information about their ancestors, any experiences, anything that they would like to share anything that they would like to share. I'm always game to hear follow-ups, details, any developments that occur as a result. This format doesn't make it quite as easy to know what happens after the show. So I always welcome, through Instagram at Shannon Ratay, I always welcome any sort of follow-ups or anecdotal information or developments that occur as a result of what we've been up to here. But I really do. I thank you for your participation, your time, your attention, your willingness to jump in with me, especially today when I really not the expert, and so part of the sandbox playing around with all of you. So really appreciate everything that you do for this show and the way that you support me as part of it. So thank you so much. Oh, thanks, Stacia. It was an amazing show. Thanks to all of you. Oh, and always, I'm going to show you just because you're all here. Just a second. I always have to put it up because I always have trouble remembering what I'm supposed to say. Right? I always have to put my little post-it note, right? Thank you to Callie Brickle, our wonderful, lovely producer and Sacred Spiral Network. But if you could see all the Post-its I have up behind me trying to remember all the things, the important things that I'm supposed to say that I sometimes forget in the moment. So thank you to Kelly. Thank you to all of you. And I'll be back next month. I think next month on May 16th. I look forward to seeing you then. And as usual, I don't know exactly how to end the show. So that's it. I think we did it. We're done. Thank you so much.